Guys, welcome back to the channel. It's round 8 tips. Went okay, got 6 from 8 last week, so let's hopefully we get a few extras and try and get that perfect round again. So it's Anzac round, going to be a big round. 2 games on Tuesday, which is pretty good if you ask me. It's a bit of a gap between Sunday and then you have a day off and then 2 games on Tuesday. So it's going to be a bit weird, but I like it. So let's get into it. Starting off at Accor Stadium on Thursday night, we've got South Sydney Rabbitohs versus the Penrith Panthers. So their last 2 games were not too bad. The Dolphins got out to a lead against South. We saw what they done in the second half. Same with Penrith. Newcastle were all over them. It was crazy to watch that happen. But yeah, Golden Point, Cleary again ices the game and the win for the Panthers. But I don't know. It's for me, this game's 50-50, as all games are. But I've got Rabbitohs purely because it's at Accor. Latrell and Cody's starting to come to form. So I've got Rabbitohs 1-12 in that one, which brings me to Friday night. So people are probably wondering, why do you have displays with water in the background? Well, me and the boys from the Talking Para podcast last night had a bit of fun. We all know the game's in Darwin, Eels versus Broncos. BA likes to have his water bottles, so we all decided to have water bottles. So for this tip, I'm going to ask BA to join me. There you go. So what's your thoughts on the game, BA? The effort's going to be there. So let's get into it. I've got Eels winning this one. I know what everyone's going to say, one-eyed, betting with your heart, not with your head, but I feel like they've gone up earlier. They're prepping better than what they were the last couple games than what they were at the start of the year. We're seeing them build a bit of confidence, get into a bit of a form. So I think we'll upset the Broncos in this one. Obviously, Broncos are on favourites on top of the ladder. Gold Coast took it to them last week, but I'm going to go Eels with this one purely because we'll make it 3 in a row. They're building nicely, starting to come back. I know it was only against Tigers and a depleted Bulldogs team, but I feel like for this one, we'll be up for the challenge. And this man here, how many bottles of water is he going to have? If you watch the Talking Para podcast, we done a little thing, so I'll leave the link below. But yeah, so thanks BA for joining us for that one. Bringing me on to the next game is Saturday night at Saturday Arvo 5:30 against Bulldogs versus the Sharks at Accor Stadium. Now, for me, this is a no-brainer. Nico Hines is absolutely killing it the last couple of weeks. So for me, it's Sharkies all the way. Sorry, Bulldogs. Tough game last week against the Eels. Couple more injuries. I don't know many more injuries they can get. Paul Reed and Burton trying their hardest, but I think once they get all their troops back, they'll go on a bit of a run towards the back end of the season. But for mine, they're just got to. I don't know. Maybe some of the debutants they got coming in will shock everyone. But yeah, for mine, I've got Sharks in this one. Next game is at 7:30 p.m. 7:35 p.m. These fives, just make it 7:30 p.m. at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Now I'm trying to book a trip to go to this stadium, so can't wait for that. Hopefully, Eels vs Cowboys. I'll be up there in July, but let's get into it. I've got Cowboys versus Knights. I'm going Cowboys because it's at home and Knights absolutely like their energy against the Panthers. If they turn up like that, maybe they'll get to the upset. But for mine, Cowboys. Moving on to Sunday. Now, this is weird because it's going to go from Sunday to Tuesday because Anzac weekends thrown us no Monday night footy, so it's not going to be an extra day, but there's going to be a break in between, which is going to feel weird for NRL. But Sunday, we've got at 2 p.m. at Suncorp Stadium, another Queensland battle. We've got the Dolphins up against the Titans. For mine, I'm going with the upset of this, if you can call it that. I'm going to go to Titans. Titans showed pretty good stuff last week. They've got a few players back. Brimson's back, Foran's back. So I think they could upset the Dolphins here. So my upset of the week is going to be the Titans. So there you go, folks. Sunday afternoon, 4:05 kickoff. We're at Campbelltown Sports Ground. We've got the West Tigers versus Manly Sea Eagles. For mine, it's got to be Manly. Hopefully Alex Twile finally gets a try. But yeah, I think Manly will win comfortably. I don't know. Tigers, something's got to click soon. And when it does, they've got no Dewey. Poor Appy's trying to do it all on his own. Luke Brooks, what can you say? Trying his hardest, but just not clicking at the moment. So hopefully they can get some good signings, maybe some mid-season help from other teams, some loan players. Just like Dogs should probably put in for a few loan players. But yeah, mine, I reckon, Sea Eagles. Which brings us to the Anzac Day, the traditional Anzac Day games. We've got the Roosters, 4:05 at Allianz Stadium, Roosters versus Dragons. Now, this one could be an upset. I've seen a lot of people tipping the Dragons, but we've seen Sam Walker's been dropped from the Roosters, and Manu's moving to 5'8", which is a good move, I reckon. It gets him more involved rather than out in the centers. But yeah, I'm tipping Roosters for this one. I think Dragons. It was the most boring game I've ever watched last week. Dragons versus what I saw of the highlights. Dragons versus Canberra. The battle of the coaches, I reckon, is going to get fired. But yeah, they need to make a call on Dragons coach earlier. If they're going to let him see out the season or just let his assistant take over. We've seen what happens when assistant coaches take over. Teams go on a bit of a run. Some new players get introduced. So we'll see what happens there. But I've got Roosters. Roosters, I think, will win big on that one. Which brings us to the 7 p.m. Tuesday night. Now, not often you see that. Obviously, Anzac Day. I've got it's at Amy Park, Storm versus the Warriors. Now, Warriors are in the top 4. They're playing some good footy. They could get the Storm, but for mine, Anzac Day at home, I've got Storm winning. Well, probably 1-12, to be honest. I think Warriors will put up a good fight, being Anzac Day, and it's a different team this year. So we'll see what happens. So let's just recap. I've got Rabbitohs over Panthers, Eels over Broncos, Sharks over Bulldogs, Cowboys over Knights, Titans over Dolphins, Sea Eagles over Tigers, Roosters over Dragons, and Storm over Warriors. So there's my tips. Let's see how we go. I'll put a few links down below in the description. We'll do some prize giveaways at the end of the year. For those that don't know, I'm going to shout someone a trip to the grand final. We're going to literally meet at the grand final. I'll give them a ticket. We're going to have a fun day. So make sure you like, subscribe. Same old cliche, but yeah. So that's my round 8 tips, guys. So yeah, that's it. Everyone enjoy the footy over the weekend. Enjoy your semi-long weekend. For those people that put in for Monday off, have a great long weekend. Make sure you pay your respects. Happy Anzac Day, everyone, and we'll see you next week for another episode of NRL tipping. Hopefully we're celebrating and I'm party got the party poppers going like last time. We get 8 from 8. But yeah, let me know in the comments what teams you're got winning this week. What's your tips? Super coach tips, anything? Just like, subscribe, comment. I'm rambling. So on that note, enjoy your weekend, and I hope your team wins, lest you're Broncos fans. So peace.